In a viral video, we see a man talking to a woman where this woman says that she didn't even waste her time. The moment she sits down with the guy on a date, she says, "Show me your bank account." And it's led to a big controversy and debate over whether or not it is appropriate for a woman to ask a man to show her his bank account. Oh man, I'm not so sure I'm angry at this lady. I'm not so sure that I actually care that she's saying it. In fact, I actually kind of respect that she's saying it. If the traditional roles of men and women are being upheld by someone, then fine, whatever. Women want guys with power, status, confidence, money. Men want beautiful women. If a guy finds someone attractive and she's all like, "Do you have money? Can you support me?" Valid question. Think about, let's read the story and we'll see what they have to say. But then I think it's interesting that we debate this idea, because I will make the argument that a woman demanding to know the financial status of the man is a traditional value. Dude, it used to be dowries. It used to be that the father would give permission to the man to marry his daughter, and then he would transfer a dowry to the man. Here's what they say. An influencer has divided online opinion after revealing that she asks men for their bank account information on the first date. Sophia Franklin, 30, a content creator from New York, admitted, "I've asked the last 3 dudes I've dated for their bank account info on the first dates." I mean, now hold on. If you're saying you want their routing number and account number for like transfers, I can totally understand why that's not okay. If she's saying, "I want to see how much money you've got," different question. You know what I mean? She explained that she only wants to date a wealthy guy that has money and wants to know if she's wasting her time. I think, I have a job. I'm very successful. She told her podcast, Sophia with an F, with the latest episode featuring Leo Skeppy. So I think I have every effing right to be like, "Hi, are we on the same level or am I wasting my time?" I wouldn't want to be with a woman like that. Fine. Like someone who's like, "Prove to me you have money." But I think there's a bigger question on dating that should be asked here outside of whether or not money and looks and all that stuff matters. I think what matters in a relationship is a familial bond that is made between two individuals who are, right? So you become a family. It's really interesting when you're a kid, right? And both of your parents, they're both related to you. And then like you get older and you start to learn about the birds and the bees and you realize like these people were two strangers at one point, but now are related and have produced blood bonds. Like it's an interesting concept, right? You looking at your parents, they're both related to you, but they're not related to each other, except they've developed that familial bond together and created a family. That's the most important thing. Do you feel it? I don't like this rigid socioeconomic, logic-based relationship forming kind of stuff. I care more about a combination of all factors, with the dominant factor being, do we enjoy each other? Do we have that bond with each other? So I don't think it matters if someone's making money or not, so long as you enjoy them as who they are. But there does need to be some, like, I can fully respect if you enjoy being around somebody, it's like a guy, and he won't work and doesn't make any money, that relationship ain't going nowhere. In the full episode shared to YouTube, Leo clarified if Sophia was asking for their login details, to which said yeah, and pulled up a screenshot of the bank account of one man she was interested in. I don't think it's weird to ask for that kind of information on a first date. The influencer stressed she wants to know the bank account details, especially if they're under 5'10". I think it's fine. I wouldn't give someone my bank account credentials on the first date, and whatever. But she can ask for it, and if you don't want to be with someone like that, then don't. That's it. She's allowed to want the things she wants. You can criticize. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying, yeah, whatever. She's allowed to be the person she wants to be, and maybe guys will like it, maybe they won't. She goes, "I do that, and if they don't show me, I'll still go on like a second or third date, but I need to know at a certain point. A lot of people think that's just crazy of me to do. I don't think that's crazy. Also, I'm 30. I'm not really trying to just date and F around." You see, now here's where it gets interesting. Viewers seeing a snippet of the clip on TikTok have mixed reactions, as some urged Sophia to look deeper into happiness and relations, whereas others insisted her take was valid. Does love and genuine connection just not exist anymore? One question. Podcast equipment needs to be less accessible. Another slammed. That's a good one. She says, "I'm not joking." All right, fair point. To clarify, her saying she wants the login credentials, kind of weird, but I think she's allowed to ask for those things. Dude, if you're looking to spend your life with someone and you're like, "Here are my terms," it is honorable and respectable, in my opinion, that she asks up front. Because heaven forbid she withholds these demands that she wants, these desires. And then later on, she's like, now that we're in a relationship, we're going to get married. I want your details. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, not right now, at least. To be fair, like if you're getting married, you probably you're going to share your financials. It's kind of weird that you don't. But I think it's better that she's upfront with people, because then she'll date a guy and she says, I want your details. And he says, I'm not interested. And she goes, then I'm not interested in being in a relationship. Like, this is great. Neither of us have wasted our time. It reminds me of that song by Panic at the Disco. You remember that old song from the 2000s? What is it called? I don't remember what it's called. Is it I Write Sins, Not Tragedies? I don't know. Where it's like the one where it's like, I chime in with, haven't you ever heard of closing the goddamn door? He's like, you know, our marriage is saved. Basically, like before the marriage happens, he realizes that the bride is cheating. And so now it's like, we've not wasted each other's time, right? That's what I see with this. Whatever. People who have money don't usually gloat about having money or seek to be on the same level as someone, a third added. However, many were in agreement with Sophia calling the influencer iconic. My fiance and I are matched equally, one added, but if I were single, I would need that person to be on my level. I agree with her for the most part. Absolutely 300% agree. You deserve to have a man on the same level as you. What they really mean is marry up. But I want to say something. Ma'am, you're 30. Okay? In the dating market, guys with money and bank accounts that you're interested in looking at, they're probably going for 24-year-olds. Look at Leo. Leonardo DiCaprio famously stops dating women around that same age. Is it 24 or something like that? Although I think he may have recently broken the trend, probably because he saw the criticism and he probably thought to himself like, eh. But yeah, successful, famous, multimillionaire superstar is going to date young women. So this guy meets up with this 30-year-old woman and she's like, I want your bank account. He's going to be like, lady, you're 30, right? Show me your birth certificate. Also equally valid. I think, you know, my response would be if I'm not in the dating pool nor the market, but were I to be, my response would be like, yeah, I can provide that for you. Would you mind first, though, if I can weigh you? We can go back to my place. I have a scale. I want to know how much you weigh. And then what could she say? No, I'd imagine she'd be like, okay, right? You want to know what you're getting. I want to know what I'm getting. Not kind of relationship that I would appreciate being in, but I think it's valid if people are being upfront about what they expect in a relationship. I guess people are more so mad at the idea that women are like, they want men who are rich and they want men who are tall. And there's a lot of guys who are not rich and not tall and they feel excluded by this. So they just, you know, women and men get angry about not being the most desirable. Look, go to any Walmart. Love is real. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be mean to these like morbidly obese individuals, but that's the joke they make. Like you go to Walmart, you can see that love is real. There's a man and woman both riding in rascals with their kids riding in rascals behind them. And you're like, you can find it if you try. You know, people can fall in love. It is a lot harder in this day and age with social media apps and dating apps that make it really easy for women to get access to a massive pool of men. And then these guys basically bang every woman. And then, you know, this is why we're seeing more male virginity and why we're seeing males often not find relationships and becoming incels and things like this. But that's just kind of how things were a long time ago before the advent of like social traditions. Not saying it's a good thing that that's happening. It's actually kind of a bad thing. But where we're at now is this lady, she's going to sit down with a guy and she's going to be like, I want your bank account details. And he's going to be like, okay. He's going to show her and she's going to be like, wow, he's got a lot of money. And he's like, let's go back to my place. They're going to hook up. He's going to go into his bank, change the password, and then say, I'll see you next time. And he'll never call her back. And she'll just have given it up just because you have to look at a number. So there's got to be more to it. They say for Ella Freeman, a dating coach from New York, being with someone who isn't generous with his wallet is not an option. But she insisted it's not because she's more hungry. Instead, the 24-year-old explained that she believes potential suitors should always cover the entire check because she has high standards and knows what she brings to the table. By splitting the bill, I'm agreeing to form a connection with a man who doesn't know his role in a relationship and expects me to be 50% of the man he's not. I've learned that men who split the bill don't value the time and effort a woman puts into herself to look her best for that man. I agree with that. Not completely, but a lot of guys probably don't get it. You're a guy, you shower, you put on a nice shirt, you go to your date. Women, takes like a half an hour or more. They're putting on makeup, they're doing their hair. They're putting a ton of effort into looking really good. That being said, there are a lot of women that go on dates because they're hungry. And it is what it is. You can be one of those guys who falls for that. C'est la vie. Ultimately, I guess my point on all this, my position where it stands is women are allowed to have demands. Men are also allowed to have demands. So if a guy came out, and I'll make this point, if a guy made a video where he says, before I agree to go on a second date with a woman, I ask her to stand on a scale. I pull out a scale from my briefcase and I say, stand on this, because if you weigh more than X, we're not having another date. And they'd be like, oh, how dare you? Oh, man, they'd lose their minds. If you're okay with this, then you should be okay with a guy weighing her. Whatever. Look, I think people should be allowed to do what they want for their own standards. It's a free country. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up 6 p.m. today. Oh, wait, no. 8 p.m. because I record these ones early for Friday. 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.